Alright, welcome everybody to another mixing video. This time we're going to look at mixing piano. And this piano track is a little bit different because it also has a pad sound in there with it. So I'm going to show you how I would handle that, because the piano pokes out a little more than the string sound. So we're going to even that out. And since this song is just piano and vocal, we're gonna clear out the middle a little bit to leave room for this vocal here. So yeah, let's go ahead and just listen to this piano. Okay, so it sounds pretty good. It's a good sound. I think this came from Logic Pro. I don't know what program this came from, but I'm pretty sure it's Logic Pro. Either that or it's a sound on their keyboard itself, because their MIDI keyboard also has pre-programmed sounds within it. So, that being said, I'm going to start this how I start just about anything, and that's going to be with the virtual tape machine. And with the virtual tape machine, I like this tape, the FG456, and 2-inch 16 track, and I like 15 IPS. But for piano, I treat it a little bit differently. I come in here and I adjust the wow and flutter, and I bring it up quite a bit. So somewhere between 50 to 75%. Let's try 70. And what that does is, to me, the way it sounds is it adds some depth. Because wow and flutter, to my understanding, is a fluctuation of pitch and amplitude. So it's sort of a modulation effect, but it has more going on. And I don't know the science behind it. If you want to check out a good explanation of wow and flutter, I know that, what's his name? I believe his name's Michael White from... Yeah, Michael White. He does videos called Mixing with Mike, and he goes very far in depth with everything that he ever does, and he does a good one on wow and flutter. If I can find the video, I'll leave a link to that in the description here. So let's listen to what VTM is doing. Wow, so that's really opening things up. It does give it a little bit of a 3D sound, and if you can't hear this, that's okay. Eventually you'll be able to hear these kind of subtleties. So I love that sound. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna exaggerate the wow and flutter so you can kind of hear what's going on. So it's still subtle, but you can hear what's going on there. So next, I'm gonna do what I do in every mix. I'm gonna add the virtual mix rack, and just like with the vocal, I'm gonna add the VCC and Trident, and yeah, let's listen to that. Wow, I love what that's doing to the bottom end. The top end also just sweetens up. I don't know, just like I said in the last video, this the virtual console collection does something magic, just absolute magic. Okay, so just as before, we're gonna do a little bit of high pass filter. So for this, I'm only gonna go up to about 80. And let's find what else we can take out of this. Okay, so as you could hear there was some digital clipping because this EQ has up to about 18 dB of gain, I think. So don't mind that. When we play it with the cuts, there's obviously not going to be that clipping. So as you could see, I had to dial back this console emulation because I don't want to drive it too hard. If it's hitting about 0 dB on this meter, that's fine. But when it's going into the red, that's fine in a lot of things. But for this kind of song, I don't really want it to be pushed that hard. Okay, so from there, I'm going to add some compression. And I'm also going to use circuit 2 in this, and I'm gonna go 4-to-1 on this one, and I'm gonna do a fast attack because when you use a fast attack, it kind of sits things back in the mix a little bit. So I want this to be back behind the vocal. Okay, but if I have a fast attack and a super fast release, then you'll run into some distortion problems. So I'm gonna use like a medium slow release, and I'm gonna actually fast forward here to the loud part of this song, which you could see this is just pegged. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna aim for 3 to 6 dB of gain reduction. Okay, so as you can see, I haven't even boosted any EQ. I've made some cuts and added some compression, and if you heard that, everything just beefed up, and it wasn't so nasally up top. It has top end. I mean, the top end sounds good, but it's not overly bright or ice picky or any word that you want to describe that kind of harshness that happens in the upper mids and high frequencies. So just these few moves made a huge difference. But so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and clear out the middle. And a great plugin for that is Wave Center. That's pretty much the entire purpose of Wave Center. Okay, so actually, as far as low end, I don't want that on the sides. So I'm going to move that all the way to the center. And the highs, I'm going to slowly adjust that towards the sides. And then what I'm going to do is pull out some of the piano in the center. I could take it all the way out, but I'm just going to reduce it and then push it up on the sides and then volume match this here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So just go ahead and watch me do that. Okay, so using this center plugin, you can hear the image being pushed to the sides. It's still in the center, but it's now more on the sides. And this plugin does something that I can't find any other thing that does the same thing. If you get a chance to use this, demo it. If you like it, get it, because this plugin works wonders. And for this kind of track, it's perfect, because that synth sound or the pad, it came to life. Just using that imaging tool, it brought the synth out and kind of made it stand in line with that piano. So going on with that idea, we're gonna try and make it stand out a little more. So what I would like to use next is a Fairchild, because if you don't know, the Fairchild kind of has a mid-side processing built into it. And I'm not sure about this, but I think that the Fairchild was made in the 50s. So this lateral vertical setting here, this is for cutting vinyl, because this was mostly a mastering limiter, to my understanding. If I'm wrong about that and you know the true history of it, you can leave that below in the comments. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is try and take it out of the center a little more and push it up on the sides. So let's go ahead and listen. Okay, so um, it's added quite a bit of gain, but we could fix that later. Um, but as you could hear, at first there was too much compression in the center, and the strings started to dominate the track. I want them to be kind of even. So what I did was I heavily compressed it in the center, brought the output gain down in the center, and lightly compressed the sides and brought the output gain up on the sides. And this is just for more imaging, and it does the job. You could have you could even use this instead of the center, but I like using them together. So going even further on that idea, I'm going to use the isotope imager. Where is it? Here it is. This is a multi-band imager, and it has a great graph that shows you exactly what's going on. So let's mess around with this, and I think I can gain stage here too. So if that is true and I can gain stage, I'll bring it down so we could get a better A-B comparison. Horrible on the sides. Okay, so as far as imaging goes, this will wrap right around this vocal. Now, listening to it, to me it sounds a little thin, but that's okay because I want it to be a little thin because I want the vocal to sit over that. And the vocal's kind of thick in itself, so that'll make up for that. But I don't want it to be too thin, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an EQ that I really like to use with piano, and that's the Pultec. Okay, so I might cut a little bit of the high end because it's sounding a little brittle, and I'm gonna boost some low end. And the Pultec is great because you can boost or cut a lot without it sounding overly EQ'd, which that's how I feel the track is sounding now. Even though there's barely any EQ on it, the color of the Fairchild is imparting some tonal shifting. So let's see if we can balance it, and if not, I might take the Fairchild out. So that Pultec did exactly what I wanted it to do. It added some of that body back in there and added some warmth, kind of cleaned up the top end a little more. So depending on what you want, you could have even just left this track alone, but I didn't want it in the center. If you noticed when I was using the imager this last time, I had this open and I was taking out center in the Fairchild, and you could see the track was just pretty much all in the center, besides what I had added here. So without those three plugins, it would be right in the middle and it would be fighting with that vocal. So I'm actually gonna put the vocal in right now, and let's listen to them together.
I'm hollow, I'm hollow, 'cause I'm hollow, hollow. This won't take too long, you'll see. I confess my weakness, I'm not giving all of me. Till you pick up the parts that are broken, pour out your perfection. What shot out at me like a rifle? Or was it revival? Revival, yeah, 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 yeah. Hold me, wrap me in love, fill up my cup, empty.
This was with everything off.
Fill up my cup. Cause I'm
Sorry about that.
feel like I've awakened lately. The chains around me are finally breaking. I've been on to self-restoration. I'm becoming my own salvation. Showing up, no more hiding, hiding. The light inside me is bursting, shining. It's my time to butterfly. All hard work is so far gone. It's more
Okay, so it's not perfect, but there's a couple ideas there. The thing about piano is it fights a lot with pretty much every instrument because it pretty much fills up the entire spectrum. I mean, it has very low notes and very high notes. So the piano can be tricky, but this is a good way to take a stereo piano and make some room for the vocal. Obviously, you could tweak this a lot more, do better balancing and gain staging, but this is just a quick video to kind of give you some ideas to create some depth and width, really, and make some room for your vocal. Because when you just have those two elements, you have to choose what you want on top. And to me, it's obvious that the vocal should be the king here, or in this case, the queen. So I hope you liked this video. If you didn't, dislike it, that's fine. If you did like it, go ahead and give it a like or subscribe, and keep your eye out for some more videos because they're gonna keep on coming. So until next time, thank you so much, and I'll see you again.